All right. So we've done a lot of arrow work. It's really hot outside, like 97 degrees. So I'm still debating on if I want to go outside and shoot or not. But I figured while I'm waiting to go outside and shoot, I could bring a few things in, kind of show you the ins and outs of the basics, right? Uh, so like I said, a lot of this stuff is just foreign language to me. It's really not that bad once you get to it. Okay. So again, y'all see my bow a little bit. Back up a little bit. There's my bow. I love this thing. Uh, so there's a few things about this bow that I'm going to point out to you. So when I did buy it, it was bare bow. What I mean by bare bow, I didn't have this, I didn't have this, I didn't have any of this on there. All it had was the strings and the string guide, and then I had to get everything else. There are bare bows out there that do come with everything pretty much set up to it. There's nothing wrong with it. The very first bow that I bought about 3 years ago, I've only been in this for about 3 years, but the very first one I bought, the sight was a little off. That's no fault to bear or nothing like that. So, but anyway, I got all to it, and then I found a great deal, got this one half off, and I've been running with it. So if you buy a bare bow, like just bare necessities bow, nothing on it, you're gonna want to buy a sight. All right. So the sight, as you can see, I have a 4-pin sight. Okay. It goes 20, 30, 40, 50. I really haven't had to actually take a shot at 50 yards. I think the most I actually took in the woods was 30 yards. So, and that's still a pretty good long range shot around here in Missouri, especially the part that I'm in. So, but anyway, I got a Trophy Ridge, little 4-pin. These sides here, how you're going to adjust to your 20 yards, and then there is a Allen key right there, where you're going to adjust for 20 and 30, or sorry, not 20, but 30, and then you'll sight in your 40, just really fine tune it, and then that 50 will pretty much be sighted in. I'll be surprised if you're not sighted in at 40 once you sight in your 30. But it's a really good sight. I've loved it. There are people that go with single pins, so there's just one little pin right there in the middle. I'm not a real big fan of it because at least with a 4-pin, I can range what I'm looking at, and I can put my pin on it, and then we'll get into other things later. Next thing that you're probably going to want is a rest. Okay, so this is a drop away rest, meaning that once the arrow flies through it, it's just going to drop to the ground. And they make other ones, Whisker Biscuits. They're just a little circle. It has like little whiskers, and your arrow will sit perfectly in the middle of that. I like the drop rest. I feel like it just shoots straight where it needs to. Nothing wrong with the Whisker Biscuit. I shot it for a couple years, and I had success with that too. So it goes either way, however you want it. And then also you're going to want your bow balancer. Okay. Find the one that works for you and your bow. Kind of keeps everything level, balanced, because it just helps keep everything straight. And then usually every bow comes with it is your wrist band, and that's so it's your bow catch. So if you drop your bow, or if you're getting a competitive shooting, you're going to let your bow drop anyway. So I'm not competitive by no means. Again, I'm just some guy who's trying to figure this all out myself still. So I just wanted to kind of point out some basics that I have. Then we're going to get into the string. Okay, so your Bowtech's most likely going to put this little guy in there right there. That's a peep sight. So whenever you pull your bow back, that's what you're actually going to be looking through. And then whenever you're looking through it, this is about all you should see. As you got that bow string pulled back, this is about all you should see. It's just the perimeter of your sight in line with this right here. So if you see too much, you're not going to be able to zone in on it. And if you see too little, then you're not really actually going to be able to zone in on it. So just see this right here, and you'll be good to go. All right, something that I like, and I've had on every bow or every setup, every string setup I've ever had, I love the kisser button. So the kisser button, that just allows me to put it right where it needs to, right there on the edge of my lip. And I get the same position every time. And so I try not to change anything up. So I know I got this kisser button. I know that kisser button's going to sit right there every time. So I know a lot of people, they'll put their thumb in the back of their neck on their release hand, and that is their anchor. So this is my anchor. Others got their anchor, whether it be the nose, the kisser button. They also make a little nose bleeder right there, so you can just stick it on the tip of your nose, and you're good to go. And then they're going to throw on this D-loop right here, and this is to where you can actually hook up your release, pull back, and then let it go as well. And then that's pretty much the basics of what you're going to get when you get a new bow. So with the Bear ADAP, something that I've learned with this is I had put a new string glide on. So it's a roller. What happened was I was pulling on a doe, and I was about to have back-to-back days. I was super excited. But I was pulling back on a doe, and but the original one I had on there let out a pop and a squeak. And so I went to a bow tech, told him the issue, and he goes, yeah, that's been pretty common lately. And they had like a $10 fix. So I absolutely had him put it on there, and it didn't take him but 5 minutes to do it. Cost me about $10 in total. So you can't really beat that, right? So you just got to go out there, talk to your local bow tech, see what they got going on. They're always more than willing to give you information. I haven't found a bow tech yet who hasn't. So then we'll get into the release a little bit. So this is the release I carry. It's a TrueFire. It's adjustable. You can twist, and it'll adjust the length and the size. So it goes on the wrist. And I do, again, the same thing every time. I always go to a second notch there, and then seat it in, and now I've got my release. All right, so it's just like a trigger on any gun you got. It's going to open it up for you, and then that's really about it. Okay, like I showed you on a previous video of how I'd normally draw back on the bow. I keep my finger underneath the trigger right there. That ensures that it's going to stay closed on me, and it's not going to open up, and I'm going to fly that arrow wherever else, right? So I want to stay in control the entire time. And then once I get it back here and I'm getting ready to shoot, I'm just going to put that trigger right there, and then I'm going to just let it go. Anytime that you're going to pull this trigger, it should almost be like a surprise to you, right? You just hold true the entire time, and as you're squeezing on it, it should almost surprise you every time. Not a jump surprise, but oh, okay, it did go, right? So we went over a whole lot of stuff there, and it's a lot of fun. Another thing that you're going to want to do, and I didn't really actually learn this till a little bit later, is you're going to have this level right here, okay? And that level has a bubble in it. And whenever you're pulling your bow back, you want to make sure that it's centered, kind of like so, right? And that's going to make sure that you're not canted one way or the other and things like that. And in one of my earlier videos, what I talked about was grip of the bow. Whenever you pull back on your bow, you're going to have a very loose grip. You're not going to be death gripping it, all right? Because when you death grip it, that's when you're going to get that tilt, and it's going to go one way or the other. Generally, it's going to go on your inside. So that's why you're going to have this kind of real loose, and then I just rest my fingers right there on the end of the bow. So that's how I do it, and it usually works out for me. I haven't really had too much problems yet, but again, I'm going to hook up, and just so I can show y'all, I put my arrow in, notch out. Yes, this is a different arrow than I'm normally shooting, and I'm not going to shoot it. I'm inside, okay? My wife has not blessed off on that yet. So, again, trigger at the back. I like to start up, and then I come down. Now, as you can see, I put that kisser button right where I am, okay? And then I just start adjusting to that bubble. Once I got that bubble adjusted, then I'm ready to shoot. And then I just put where I want it to be. And that's really about it on your basics of your bow. Tell you, I've only been doing this for 3 years, and I just have people ask me, hey, can we link up? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I figured at least now I can drop a YouTube video. I really wanted to start doing this really to get a lot of education out there, because it's not as hard as it may seem. Just like any new hobby you get into, it is going to come with a price. But if you get out there and just look, you'll find a good deal, enough to make you want to actually get into it. It's not that expensive, and then once you're in it, you'll probably wind up loving it. Like if you're any bit of an outdoorsman, you'll probably wind up loving it. So next thing I want to talk about is bowstring wax. Okay, so the first bow that I bought and the second bow that I bought, I did not get bowstring wax. Really didn't know you needed to have something like that. Okay, so what this does is it's going to keep your bowstring really nice and conditioned. Okay, so anytime you get a brand new bow, you're going to want to throw some bowstring wax on it very first rip before you even take a draw on it. The other thing is you're going to want to keep an eye on your bowstring, because as you're going through, it's going to get frays and things like that. Okay, so if you keep it conditioned with that bowstring wax and you just rub it on there, rub it through there, you don't really want to miss any of it. Just get it all on there, because it's got so many friction points going through the cams here, going through your string glide, and everything else like that. So it's got a lot of friction and it's really fast. So take care of your string, and the string will last as long as you let it last. You do got to get it replaced every now and then. So I found a good spot down at my local archery shop. I think they ran me about $100, which I really didn't think was too bad. So I keep going back to them. Eventually I want to get into doing all of this, putting in the peep sight and the D-loop and everything, restringing my bow. I want to get into it myself. But I got to buy a few other things before I actually get into it. Because if I've learned anything, it's a learning curve. That's all it is. So once you get to what you need, then you'll be good. So I'm both by far no means an expert, but I really think that it's good to learn and teach. So once you got your bowstring wax, just get a little bit out, and then I just rub it on my string, just in different places. I want to make sure that I cover most areas, so that when I come to it, I can just rub the wax into it. Place that cap, and then rub my wax in. All right, it's not hard, real easy, and it'll take care of you. Take care of your equipment, it'll take care of you eventually. I gotta say, this bow's taking care of me pretty good. It's built the freezer a little bit, so I try to take care of it. That's really about it. Right there, just re-waxed my bow and everything. It only took me about 20-30 seconds. So take care of your equipment. If there's anything y'all'd like to see on here, please just let me know. Freaking, I'll try to touch point on some things that maybe I missed or maybe you want to know more about. But again, I'm just here to try to teach what I know. Now, like I said, I'm no expert, just some redneck trying to figure it out myself. So just let me know if y'all got anything y'all want to add, and I'll see if I know it. If I don't, hey, sorry, I probably won't put it on there, but I'll try to learn about it and maybe put it on there later. So I'm hoping the next video that we post is going to be me shooting and trying to dial this in. I'm going to try to start from the very basic of where you start and then build up to 20, 30 yards. I probably won't go too much more than 30. I like to keep it consistent with 30. Like I said, I don't get too many shots past 30. So if you like the video, subscribe, like, and then if you got anything down you want to put down there, just put it down there. I'll try to get to it. Y'all have a great one. Bye.